rally against Maui's freedom party's created together. Hundreds gathered outside at the back office to prove their points about situated together. Let us hear their points.
How do you feel about what you're seeing right now?
I feel that a lot of people have different perspectives about freedom.
So why are you here to protest?
We are here to state our side and to let everyone know that our decisions are based on the situations. Ngunit hindi natin pwedeng baliwalain ang mga moral na ating natutunan. Kailangan natin itong pag-isipan ng mabuti upang to a better decision.
Trying to prove.
Andito kami ngayon para patunayan na ang ating kalayaan ay nakadepende sa ating sitwasyon dahil hindi dapat tayo pili ng pili lang, but we must choose something because it has meaning to us.
How does this benefit you?
Since our choices depend on a given situation, this means that we are free to choose whatever we want based on the situation. However, we must keep in mind that whether the consequences may arise from what decision, we must take responsibility.
Freedom, we can make choices. And with freedom, we can know our destiny. Total freedom can be experienced if we possess ourselves and give ourselves to service of others. True freedom serves what is good, just and true for all. It can be experienced if we allow universal good. True freedom makes us fully human. Freedom must be grounded on love for the self and others. As Max Seller says, it is love which makes me a person, which makes me truly free. There is total freedom if there is love. As the saying goes, if you love someone, set it free. Freedom makes us truly human.
Freedom!
Depende sa ating sitwasyon. Malayain ang ating mga sarili. Pag-isipang mabuti ang mga bagay sa mundo. Ano nga ba ang mas mahalaga? Asan ang aming kalayaan? Our experience is far more better. Kami ay narito para ipaalala sa inyo na ang desisyon namin sa aming mga buhay ay hindi lamang simpleng desisyon, but these decisions are made for the common good at ito ay may halaga para sa amin. Our freedom depends on a given situation. With situation freedom, we know how to act and it can lead us to the right decisions. Kung ikaw ay papipiliin sa gitna ng isa o sa gitna ng lima, ano ang desisyon mo? Paano mo gagamitin ang iyong kalayaan? Ngunit, dagdagan natin ang sitwasyon. Isipin mo na ang isang taong iyon ay ang pinakamahalagang tao sa iyo. Siya ang taong gumabay, nagpakain, nagpaaral at magmahal sa iyo. Habang ang ibang tao naman ay mga taong hindi mo kilala. Ano ang iyong gagawin? Paano mo gagamitin ang iyong kalayaan sa pagpili ng desisyon sa kasalukuyang sitwasyon? Kalayaan! Kalayaan! Kalayaan!
We have points of the protesters. How's the situation there? How's the situation there, Saidi and Diana?
Bakit pinili niyo sumali sa protesta na ito?
Hindi kami sumasang-ayon sa kanilang sinasabi. Bakit hindi ka sang-ayon sa protesta ng ibang grupo? Experiences may be the best teacher, but it does not always hold the correct answers.
Our world is a predetermined world, and we know not through intellect, but through our experience. Does that mean that we should just base our choices with our experiences because it can be the best key, rather than being analytic? Experience over rationality does not always prosper because if we just keep on making decisions just based on our experiences, then it might mislead us. Because there are factors that affect one's experience or morality. People make decisions based on what has meaning for them, rather than what is rational. But the question is, what are we forgetting that will bite us? If we keep on making decisions just based on our experiences, then it might mislead us. Remember, not all experiences are the same and will fit the situation you are facing. Our freedom to make choices should be rational. In reality, People are often moved by emotions and external factors. If freedom of making decisions is based on experiences, then people are not always able to obtain all the information they would need to make the best possible decision. What if there are other circumstances, yet you are just relying on the situation you have already encountered in the past? What we are forgetting that will bite us is how we became independent on the idea that experience is way better than our intellect in terms of acquiring knowledge.
According to Maurice Merleau-Ponty, that our freedom or choices are influenced by our past experiences. Considering that our choices are influenced by our surrounding, which are the experiences and the household that we grew in, our choices won't guarantee if it's good or not, since all of us don't have the same experiences of life, and especially we have different households.
Inabuso nila ang kalayaan. Gusto nila magkaroon ng kalayaan, ngunit hindi nila inisip ang ibang tao. Ay, dahil sa iyong desisyon, kaya mo naranasan ang ganyang sitwasyon. Kaya wag mong isisi sa ibang tao o sa na kailangan nyo ng kalayaan dahil kayo ay may desisyon, kayo ay may kalayaan na gumawa ng desisyon para sa inyong sarili. Huwag nyo idamay ang ibang tao. Huwag abusuhin ang kalayaan. Huwag abusuhin. No! No!
In confronting situations, we must make a choice. We find ourselves facing an open range of possible course of actions, where nothing compels us to choose one course of action over the others. Even in cases where we are not aware of making choices, a moment's reflection shows that we are, in fact, deciding our own life. It asserts that people actually make decisions based on what has meaning for them rather than what is rational.
Based on what you're seeing right now, the product protesters, how do you feel about it?
We're just rolling around and hear a loud noise coming from the rally.
Initially, I found it confusing as to why people would protest about situated freedom. It's just a simple concept, so I thought that there's really nothing to argue about. As the name suggests, it simply refers to the freedom that depends on a given situation. So I was confused why there are protesters around arguing about it. But later on, as I have observed and heard from the protesters, situated freedom is a lot more than that pala. It entails the choices you make every day, situation, the meaning you put into things in your everyday life, the moral values, and etc.
How about you, sir?
I feel somewhat enlightened for I get to hear the arguments of both sides. I feel somewhat enlightened for I get to know I got to hear the arguments of both sides, the advantages and disadvantages of situated freedom. But I think they should have expressed their opinions in a more diplomatic manner. To be honest, I feel the sense of neutrality about the issue. Upon this idea of freedom that is the essence of being human, you must always choose a thing that has a significant meaning for us. For example, if I am in a situation where I have to choose would save the 5 people or a single person, I'm ready to bear the guilt and save the single person only if he or she needs something to me. Selfish it seems, but it is what it is. Situated freedom is also intermediate between existentialism and humanity.
Now, what brings you here? Oh, since me and my friend was born, we decided to roam around the streets, but suddenly I heard loud noises, screams, and shouts coming from the crowd. Coming from the 2 crowds, I concluded that there was a rally on both sides. I was curious and decided to stop, look, and listen. I was shocked to hear the arguments and ideas on both sides. One was eager to say that having situated freedom is an advantage in our lives, while the other one was fighting for the arguments, saying that having situated freedom just brings disadvantage in our lives. Upon hearing the ideas on both sides, I came to the conclusion that each and one of us have freedom, which can be seen in the choices we make every single day. We choose something because it has meaning to us and not because it is out of nowhere. Freedom and choices are connected. It is what makes us truly human. We have the freedom to choose depending on the situation we belong to.
Upon hearing different viewpoints about situated freedom, it helped me gain more knowledge about it, and it also opened my mind about the advantages and disadvantages of it. I would like to reflect on the real essence of situated freedom using different views and perspectives that I heard from the protesters. According to the yellow side, freedom is interwoven with the field of existence, which I truly agree, since our choices are not made from absolute zero, but from this field of meaning. It means that we choose something not simply because we need to choose, but we choose something because it has meaning to us, which is very important because we humans are free to choose based on what situation we belong in, which we find meaning for ourselves, which is why we need to fight for our freedom according to our moral values.
I was just planning to buy groceries across the street, then I was confused why this block is so traffic because usually at this time, this block is not crowded. I went to see why and there I saw it was a protest. I stayed and listened for a while. The protest is all about situated freedom. This side is saying that situated freedom is good because we choose something not simply because we need to choose, but we choose something because it has meaning to us. On the other hand, this side is saying that it is not good because your actions are measured depending on your moral standards or values. And after listening, as a bystander, I think our freedom depends on a given situation. Situated freedom falls at the center of things, that freedom is relatively true only with a given situation. Upon hearing the protest, I was confused on what they were talking about. As I was listening to their thoughts for some time, I was intrigued and slowly understood what freedom really is. I was annoyed at first because I wasted some of my time and schedule of the day listening to some protest. But thanks to my curiosity, my decision to listen to the protest, I was happy since I got to know the advantages and disadvantages of freedom.
For me, at first, I got attached to the protesters because from what I learned, we are free to choose based on what situation we belong in which we find meaning for ourselves. But after listening to the both sides, I changed my mind. It means that we choose something not simply, it's still the same to my friend. It means that we choose something not simply because we need to choose, but we choose something because it has meaning to us. And man's freedom is always affected by situation.
Thank you, Kayla. This is Saidi Bohol reporting live. As Ponte highlighted in his thoughts about situated freedom, there are two kinds of freedom that we depend on making decisions every single day. The freedom of choice and the fundamental option. These two kinds of freedom are just like turning on our computer to accomplish our modules. The moment we ignore our computer just to relax is our freedom of choice. Where it is the choice we make sometimes. When we turn on that computer to accomplish our backlogs, is the fundamental option because its value is higher than relaxing. Wherein it shows the value of being respectful and value of being a student. Thus, in making decisions in our life, we must choose the right one that contains morality in higher value rather than our personal choice. What is your thoughts about the issue?
Thank you, Saidi, for Gregorio reporting live. The statements made by each person we have spoken with led me to the realization that the situated freedom for which they are fighting is similar to a Rubik's Cube. Take the third layer of the cube as an example. Different strategies are employed to solve them. However, each strategy depends on the color of the pieces. For instance, if the third layer produces a cross-shaped shape, you must use the skills necessary to finish it. And if the layer produces a hammer, you must also use the appropriate procedures to finish it. In other words, your choices depend on the situation you belong in, where you find meaning for yourself. Exactly like how solving a Rubik's Cube depends on the form and placement of the color components. However, you need good vision in order to immediately distinguish objects, visually read visually read and notice colors more quickly in order to solve the Rubik's Cube quickly and precisely. In our life, morality provides us with the ability to identify wrongdoings. In order to uphold a high degree of moral value, we should be able to correct it as soon as we are aware that it is incorrect. An individual who chooses something is not simply choosing because they need to choose. However, they choose something because it has meaning to them as man's freedom to choose and moral values are always affected by the situation. Your thoughts, Kyla?
Whenever we go to multiple clothing shops, we are presented with a pictorial options, right? Yet we still choose with one piece of apparel that has special significance and sentimental worth. Whether it be because it makes us think of someone or because it represents something important to us. In line with what Maureen Ponti noted, while making a choice, we mainly do it because it has personal relevance to us, rather than because it is one of our options or because we need to make a choice. One's freedom is highly influenced by the situation they find themselves in. And we, or each of us, have the ability to choose downward in the situation in which we seek meaning for ourselves. How about you, Nuri?
In life, freedom is a gift. Freedom is given. It is a gift. However, freedom is not all rainbows and sunshine. It is a two-way street wherein you have to make choices that will benefit you and at the same time, you have to make choices that will not harm other individuals. It is not an easy task, but one thing I learned through the course in philosophy is that we have to be rational. Freedom cannot be assessed independently of a person's reasons, preferences, and valuations. Just as rationality, in turn, requires freedom of thought. If we are rational, then we can derive the conclusions that will benefit us and others. Additionally, freedom is like a blank canvas. Freedom of choice is like a blank canvas. If you're free, you have the ability to make whatever decisions you make. You're not told what you're allowed to face or have to follow the rules. You have a free choice in what you want to face. You can either be the nature, people, animals, and etc. How about you, Jake? What are your thoughts?
The statement seems to be would make me realize that there are different solutions to different situations. Just like chess, where you move pieces based on where the opponent's pieces are situated.
A crossroads is one that situated freedom is life. Understanding that a crossroads is a junction of two or more streets or paths. Usually, when saturated freedom is compared to a crossroads, it signifies that we must choose between two options. Additionally, the paths typically do not cross again. So this decision might have a profound impact on one's life. As an individual, it is up to us to decide how we will use our freedom. We may either utilize it well or poorly. But always bear in mind that every decision we make has an impact. Therefore, we ought to exercise our freedom in a way that doesn't harm or impact others. This is Yana Katipunan, reporting live. Thank you for listening.
Sabi ng realidad,